Why am I shaking? My brain is like, absolutely dread walking there. Am I going to die? The most important person to you just disappears one day. Now I'm actually going to the toilet to cry and panic. I was being nasty to myself. I am not gonna let my hello. I'm actually kind of feeling my hair today. Where do I even start? Oh my god, this is scary. Last night I sat in my bed and I was like, right, I want to do a deep video. I asked on my Instagram, would you rather see positivity and motivation, I think I asked, or grief and heartbreak? It was pretty much 50-50, so I thought like I would just combine them all together because they kind of do all combine together. My mind is going to be like, in this video, it's already like, yesterday I wrote a huge paragraph about I don't even know what I'm saying, trying to kind of express what I wanted to get across in this video. Like, it's much more natural if I just say what I'm thinking. Okay, so I don't know why I'm smiling because this video is actually really deep, so let's just stop. Now I know in lockdown literally everybody's struggling. In general I feel like everybody's struggling with some sort of anxiety, depression, mental health disorder. If you don't struggle yourself, you'll definitely at least know somebody that does, so I feel like this video is going to relate to everybody. I just want to firstly say thank you so much for the love on the last video. Like, honestly, it means so much. I had literally hundreds of messages saying how people can relate. Right, mental health, where do I start? We're just going to see how it goes. I'm not saying my situation is the worst, like, not at all. No, there's so many more issues in the world that people go through that is much worse than mine, but I feel like everybody's story is relevant. I think you learn a lot from everybody's story, whether that's to help you or inspire you or just sort of make something click in your brain. I know friends at the moment that are going through breakups and I've been kind of helping them through it. What they're saying relates to how I felt so much in terms of just my mindset, if that makes sense. I don't know if that makes sense. In no way am I saying my advice is the best advice at all, but the advice that I'm giving to them I feel like a lot of people might need to hear or might be able to relate to, so that's what we're gonna be talking about. I'm gonna obviously miss out the really hard bits to talk about because some bits, even now, just, you know when you get like that pain in your stomach, like, I don't know how to explain it. It's like a sort of feeling. I don't really know. I'm gonna try and be as open and honest as I can because I feel like that's what you want to hear. Anybody who's in an anxious, depressed or struggling with mental health mindset needs to know that they're not alone. Like, so many people go through the same things, you know, we're all in this together. So okay, right, I'm just gonna start. The story kind of starts again in school. School, you really went for me, as you know if you watched the last video. It would probably make sense if you watched the last video and then watch this video, but it's fine if you haven't watched the last video. Obviously, I'm not going to make you watch the last video. A lot of people have asked why I was so anxious in school and kind of what triggered it, and why I used to never be in lessons, or why I used to skip lunch, or why I used to be in, we call it student support. I don't know if anybody else has that at school. Basically just this kind of support area that it's kind of like a reception sort of thing. Why I didn't go to any exams, why I was never in assembly. Oh yeah, also I've put some new pictures in the background. I've got these up for a reason today. So I think my anxiety stemmed from my childhood. Everybody experiences anxiety in different ways, obviously, everybody's different. But I feel like mine was very much stemmed around the PTSD that I experienced when I was younger. Why am I shaking? I don't really want to go too much into detail about this because it, like, literally when I'm talking about it now, it's like my heart's like, it's like it sinks in. I don't know how to explain it, it's not very nice. Maybe one day I'll be able to talk in more detail about this topic, but for now, like, it's just, I don't know, it's, even still now, I kind of feel like it's very hard to talk about. So when I was younger, my mum passed away very suddenly. Now for a child, this is like, I can't even explain it to you. How do I explain it? It's just like, you know when your brain hasn't fully developed, you don't understand life properly, you're very confused, you're young, like you don't understand life sort of thing. When the most important person to you just disappears one day, it has an effect, let me tell you. I was left very unsure of life, confused, anxious. Like how does that just happen? Obviously the feelings from that experience stemmed a lot of backlash. Does that make sense? Stemmed a lot of backlash, that doesn't make sense. Caused a lot of backlash, obviously. This was a very unexpected situation, so obviously as a child you can't process that. Like, I don't know how to explain it. My hand's shaking. 1 minute the most important person to you is there, and then 1 minute she's gone forever. Very hard to understand in general as an adult, never mind as a young child. I'm going to kind of leave that story, and maybe I'll talk about it another time, but it's just very hard to talk about. It still feels very vivid in my mind, and I don't know if that will ever go away. So yeah, basically my anxiety started when I was young. Obviously I wasn't aware that it was anxiety, but looking back and from what my dad has told me, I was always constantly worried about getting ill, constantly worried about what if this, what if that, just kind of on edge as a child. Because I went through traumatic events, it kind of left me constantly scared and apprehensive to do things. I always thought like, oh, if I do this, am I going to die? It was small things. If I went for a sleepover at my mate's house, I would be thinking, is my dad gonna die? Like, I was just a complete anxious mess. As I got older, I developed OCD. Now, a lot of people throw around the word OCD. There's different types of OCD, and there's also different levels of it. The smallest irrelevant things would become huge things. This is kind of hard to explain to somebody who hasn't kind of gone through it, but I'll try and explain it the best I can. OCD really became an issue for me when it started controlling my life. Stupid as it seems now, looking back, at the time I would have like rituals and routines that I would have to do for myself. As small as turning on and off a light switch 6 times, you know, having the door a certain way, having to wear a certain outfit that day, having to wash my hands 10 times, touch something 5 times, like little things that my brain would tell me I have to do or else I'm going to die. Now, this may sound the most stupid thing ever, but when you're in it, it's literally like you have to do these things. Like, your brain is like, you tell yourself like a sort of punishment that's going to happen if you don't do those things. So this became like this whole, it was based around germs, so I would never ever get in my bed unless I had had a shower. If that meant I was having 4 showers a day, that meant I was having 4 showers a day. I would not be getting in that bed dirty, and nobody else would either. I would only open handles with my sleeve or use the end of the sleeve, and that makes no sense because the germs are still getting on the end of the sleeve, but in my eyes it was like, germs are not touching me. I constantly have hand sanitizer on me. If somebody coughed around me, I would be holding my breath. That would not be going anywhere near me. There's so many other things that I used to do, but I don't want to ramble on for ages about that specific thing. But yeah, that was kind of all stemmed from not wanting to get ill, thinking that if I didn't do these things, I was going to die. On top of that, I had the anxiety and the panic attacks. Now, so many people experience anxiety and panic attacks, and it is so awful. I would not wish it upon anyone. Like, honestly, it's just horrible. There were so many things that triggered me. I used to just have general panic attacks if I felt trapped in a lesson. So, for example, if I was sat at the back, I'd be like, freak out, oh my god, I can't leave. I have panic attacks over any video they showed in the lesson because I was so worried that it was going to be something traumatic or disturbing. Eventually I got a timeout card because I just literally couldn't be in crowds. Like, if I was in crowds, you know, the walk, if anybody went to my school, I'm not going to say which school it was, but if anybody went to my school, the walkway, so you have to walk from one block to the other, and that walkway, oh my god, the panic I used to feel walking that walkway, knowing that I can't turn back because people are going to be looking at me. They're going to be like, what the hell is she doing? And I need to get to the end, but how am I going to get to the end when there's big crowds? I literally can't move either way. If anybody went to the school, you would know that it was always cramped. Like, people would be walking from the red block to the blue block, people would be walking from the blue block to the red block. So it was like this whole, like, some people would be really kind of like aggressive, like pushing past. It was just the most busy atmosphere, and I used to absolutely dread walking there. Like my whole body would feel like it was going to have a panic attack just walking to lessons. In lessons, probably the whole lesson, I'd be thinking, how the hell do I get out of this lesson? I wouldn't be listening to a word the teacher's saying. I'd just be thinking, how am I going to get out? How am I going to get... I'll be looking at the door, looking at everybody around me like, oh my god, they're all going to think I'm stupid for leaving. I need to go to the toilet. Went to the toilet, but then I knew if I went to the toilet again, everyone would be like, why are you going to the toilet again? Like, school is so judgmental. Never mind if you've got anxiety or panic attacks or depression, or you just need to get out. It's like a build-up of how do I explain it? It's horrible. Like, it literally feels like you can't breathe, your hands are sweating, clammy, you feel like everything's just kind of a bit of a blur, like you're gonna faint. Camera overheated, but yeah, it's like my whole body, I don't feel like I'm in control of it. My arms, I'll feel numb, my legs are numb. When I'm sitting down, I'll think I won't be able to stand up, which makes it even worse because you're obviously feeling like you're trapped and you need to get out, but you feel physically like if you stood up, you're not going to be able to. I can't explain it. If you have gone through it, you'll probably know what I'm on about, but if you haven't, you're probably thinking, what a crazy bitch. But I'm telling you, it's horrible. Your mind's like, you don't even know what you're thinking, everything's blurry, the sound's like really high, they're just sweating, and like you just feel like, just get me out of this situation sort of thing. There's so many symptoms of anxiety. Like, you can be sick. I've been sick various times with anxiety. You can feel like you can't eat. Obviously didn't help when I was at school, if you watched the last video. You just feel like it's never gonna be better. Like, in the mindset, you just think, oh my god, I am dying, what the hell is wrong with me? For that reason, basically hid in the toilets at most breaks. Yeah. I wouldn't go to any assemblies. I think I went to 2 assemblies in year 11, if that. One of them I think I actually left. I was too anxious and like freaking out. If you're panicking, you feel like everyone's looking at you, like even if they're not, because you're trying to hold it in, which is making it even worse. Then you're fidgeting. I literally fidget so much, I'm like fiddling with my hands, I'm trying to like, I'm basically just freaking out. When you leave a place, you kind of feel more anxious because you're like, what are people thinking of me? So yeah, I'd be hiding in the toilets in assemblies. Yeah, please don't tell the teachers. Not that it matters now, but you know. I did all my exams in a separate room, so I was never in the exam hall, which most people do their exams in. Just because I literally couldn't sit in an exam hall. I tried it twice, I think, and both times I had to leave. Even if I was sat right by the door, I just thought, freak out, freak out, freak out. Then I just had to leave. Some days I would literally go to no lessons. Everyone would be like, oh, why the hell weren't you in maths or whatever? I'd be like, You just think people are going to think you're stupid, but now I've like realised that so many people go through this. You know what I hate the most? When teachers didn't let you go to the toilets. What's going on with that? Some people need to get out. Some people need the toilet, obviously. Like, I don't understand why teachers don't let you go to the toilet. Like, sometimes they'd be like, no, sit back down, finish your work. What if I needed, like, you know? That really annoys me. Obviously, when you're feeling anxious, you ask to go to the toilet, they say no, you're like, sorry, what? Most of the time I'd ask to go to the toilet before using the card, because obviously the toilet, you can kind of style out, oh, I'm just going to the toilet. No, I'm actually going to the toilet to cry and panic and feel like shit, but it's okay. I think every single day of year 8, year 9, it got a little bit better. Year 10, year 11, I think probably, if not every day, every other day, I would be crying in the toilet. Embarrassing, I know, but it's just how I felt. People that were friends with me in school are probably thinking like, were you? I didn't know about that. I literally didn't tell anybody I was crying in the toilet. Obviously, why would I tell people? I would try and hide it as best I could. Fix up my makeup in the toilet, like, stop crying, stop crying. Sometimes people would suspect, like my closest mates, but nobody really suspected. I don't think anyway. If you're watching this and you knew I was a mess, then I guess I wasn't that good at hiding it. Some days I'd go home, but also my parents were quite strict with me. Like, they didn't want me to have days at home because they thought that was going to make it worse. But in that moment I was like, oh my gosh, Dad, I literally can't go to school today. You cannot force me to go to school. I will just have panic attacks. And he'd force me to go to school. Looking back, I think maybe that was the right decision, because it kind of forced me to at least try, rather than just sit in bed and break down. I'd have like loads of people to help me, as student support. I'd go in and they'd talk to me and like try and calm me down, and I'd have like a lesson in there, not a lesson but like I'd have an hour in there whilst lessons were going on, but like just to calm down. I'd be sat at first aid, I'm freaking out. Oh my god, that first aid room, don't even talk to me about that first aid room. I'll literally have nightmares thinking about it. Honestly, I hate doctors, anything to do with medical. So sitting in that first aid room, I was like freaking out. Oh my god, it looked like a hospital room, our school. I don't know if anybody remembers it. And many counselling sessions at school and also out of school to try and control it. So I do recommend, if you are in a negative mind space, seeking help, because even talking about how you feel helps so much. When I think back to school, I just think awful. But obviously at times that I was being bullied as well, so that just made it 10 times worse, because I was thinking, oh my god, they already think this and that about me. If like I freak out right now, they're gonna be laughing, they're gonna think I'm stupid, they're gonna say this about me, they're gonna say that. I'd be walking home on my own and I'd just be crying the whole way. I went to the doctors several times. I went on my own. If you're worried about going to the doctors and you're experiencing mental health issues, do not worry. Like, they are understanding. So many people will go for that reason. You're not going to be the odd one out going for, like, don't feel like you're not worthy of help for that situation, because everyone is worthy of sorting their mind out. Just because you haven't got like a physical injury or problem, like, it doesn't mean that you're not worthy of their time. Because I always felt kind of guilty of going to the doctors, because I thought, oh god, like, there's so many people that are worse off than me. No, like, go to the doctors, they're going to be understanding. Thousands of people will have done it, they would have heard probably every story in the books. They're not going to be like, oh my gosh, what? And they're going to know how you feel, they're going to try and figure out ways to help you, because that's what they're there for. Like, don't feel nervous to go to the doctors, because I know a lot of people do feel nervous to seek help, especially from the doctors, about mental health, which you shouldn't do. Honestly, from my experience, I've been so many times. When school ended, my anxiety gradually got better. You know, when you have anxiety, situations that you've panicked in, had like a panic attack or felt anxious in or felt sad in or whatever, most of the time when you're back in a situation like that, it will bring back those feelings. So say if like I had a panic attack walking up the stairs one day in school, most likely I would have it again, because my brain recognised this is a dangerous place. Like, even though it's not, my brain's like, oh my god, like, you've panicked before here, like, it's gonna happen again. Then you're triggering all those thoughts and feelings and emotions, kind of like a snowball effect. Like, when I went for counselling, a lot of the time they would reassure me that it's normal for the brain to think like that. Technical difficulties, we're back. I gradually kind of learned coping mechanisms for me, because everybody's situation is different. But I haven't had an actual panic attack in a long time, which, touch wood, isn't gonna happen, because I'm learning ways to calm myself down when I'm noticing the anxiety. I don't expect like it just to be an overnight process, because it does take a lot of time to work out what helps you and what triggers you. And I feel like when you get triggered, it can often spiral it up again. For me, I get triggered a lot because of my experience in the past. If I see somebody getting treated by an ambulance, oh my god, my heart will be like, ugh. I always do this when I'm anxious, and I'll be like fiddling with my hands, and I'll be like really fidgety. That's kind of one of my coping mechanisms. Try and find ways of letting out your anxiety in a less noticeable way. At one point I was put on medication to try and calm me down. For me, that did not work. I felt very drowsy, I felt my headache was like throbbing all day. But for some people, I've heard that that really helps. It blocks those signals to the brain that are like, ah, freak out, freak out. By the way, I don't really know what I'm talking about, but I'm just saying from what I've been told. I found that setting small goals for myself, like get to school and do period 1, which is lesson 1. From period 1, I'd be like, come on, you can do period 2, just get through period 2, then you can go home. In my head, I'd be telling myself, like, set myself little goals, even if they were kind of unrealistic. I'd convince myself that that could happen if I just get through this. Like, the brain is such a powerful thing, like, you don't realise how powerful it is. If you're telling yourself, I'm going to feel anxious today, I'm going to feel depressed today, if I do that, I'm going to be anxious, it's just going to make me more depressed. No wonder you're feeling those those things. You will believe what you're telling yourself. It's as simple as that. Like, only you can change what thoughts go through your head. It's all down to you, and I can't stress this enough. Like, if you're thinking, oh, I've got no friends to help me through this, I'm not close to my family to help me through this, like, all you need is a positive mindset. I consider myself strong-minded, like, in the way that I would never be nasty to myself, as in saying things like, I want to die. You would never hear those words come out of my mouth. This stage of my life, we're kind of at the end of what I spoke about in my last video. I just got out of a relationship. At this point in my life, I was being nasty to myself. I kind of felt I lost my strength. I'd be saying only negative things. I don't think I could think of one positive thing that I liked about myself. I was so just lost and down, and it can get proper kind of scary. Like, you don't want to be alone in your own thoughts because you just feel, I don't know how to explain it. If you've kind of related to that, you'll know what I mean. You just want to get out of your own head. If you're in a negative mindset right now, you feel like you can't pick yourself back up, I am telling you, you can. Right? We're going to get closer for this bit because I need people to listen. So yeah, as I said at the start, I've been speaking to a lot of friends recently. Some people have gone through breakups, some people are just struggling with certain mental health issues, and what they are saying reminds me so much of how I felt. You're down, you're drained, you have the weakest mindset, you feel alone. Even though you're not alone, you feel it. You start blaming yourself, telling yourself you're ugly, being really just harsh on yourself. You're looking in the mirror and you just think, no. Treating yourself how you would never dream of treating other people, but it's like a subconscious thing. Like, you're not thinking you're being negative to yourself, but you are. I just felt broken inside, just like a few people that I know at the moment. Your motivation, zero. I had no motivation. I'm telling you now, your motivation comes from within. Now, everyone's gonna be like, cliche. I'm telling you, it all stems from how you talk to yourself. If you're watching this and you do not feel confident in yourself, you don't think you could ever be a confident person, you don't think that you'll ever be able to get out of this negative mindset, you can and you will. I had like a sort of light bulb moment where I thought, like, hold on a minute. I am not going to let my life be controlled, and I'm not going to let my own mindset stop me from fulfilling what I want to do. Like, what? Looking back, I'm like, how was I even saying those things to myself? Like, now I would never even dream of saying those things to myself. I went back on my notes a few days ago. It genuinely makes me so sad to look at the things that I used to write. Writing down how you're feeling helps so much in the moment because you're getting all your thoughts and feelings out as your first step. If you want to kind of just an instant release, write down your thoughts. Helps so much. Yeah, so anyway, you're probably thinking, I'm too sad, I'm too anxious, I'm never gonna get out of this. This is where you're going wrong. If you're telling yourself that, your mind is going to believe, I'm never gonna get out of this, I'm never gonna get better. How you think creates a spiral effect. If you're thinking negative, you're gonna end up in a downhill negative spiral. I know when you have no motivation, all you're thinking about negative thoughts. When you're feeling your weakest, you need to find your inner strength and pick yourself up. It's gonna be hard, but you're going to thank yourself for it in the future. Where we were, because it's a little bit too close for comfort, isn't it? Another thing that helped me was helping other people. You slowly start listening to your own advice subconsciously. If you're saying positive things to somebody else, like, why wouldn't you say them to yourself? You need to think about it. Like, if your friend came to you with the same issues that you have, what would you say to them? Because what you say to a friend, I guarantee you, is going to be different to what you're telling yourself, and it shouldn't be. Don't ever lose hope thinking that you can't turn it around. Like, as negative as you feel, you can always turn it around, and only you have the power to do that. You can have all the friends in the world, you can have all the support in the world. It's what's in there, it's how you're speaking to yourself, it's how you're thinking, it's your mindset. If you're still watching this, then hi, thank you for watching to this far, because I've probably talked for England. But yeah, I guarantee if you're watching this, you have something that you want to achieve, something that you want to do. It can be small, it can be big. You're not going to be able to achieve that if you are continuing in a negative mind space. If you believe that you can have a positive mindset, I'm telling you, you can. There's so many people that have turned it around. You can do it too. I was listening to really motivational music, not like, whoa. I was listening to music with lyrics that I can connect with. Just knowing that I wasn't alone really, really helped me. Also, check up on your friends. You never know what someone's going through. Somebody could be in the worst mindset, but they're completely covering it up on social media. So important. And it's also going to help you, because most of the time they're going to do that to you as well. Thumbs this video up if you have enjoyed it or if it's helped in any way. I don't know. I hope it's helped at least one person. I hope you're all safe and well. I just flicked something in my eye. Keep doing things you love doing. Surround yourself with positive people. Positivity and kind of motivation is very, what's it called? Contagious. And I feel like if you surround yourself with negative people that put you in an even even more negative mind space, it's gonna have an effect. If you're being positive, it's gonna rub off on people. But yeah, just one positive thought a day when you look in the mirror, even if you have to force it out of yourself. I just want you to know that my DMs are always open if you want to drop me a message about anything. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you enjoyed this video. If I could hug all of you, I would. But yeah, I will see you in my next video. Bye.